Welcome back to In-Depth Literature. Make sure you guys hit that like button and please subscribe and check out all the recent videos we've been making. I'll leave a link in the description. Check out the various playlists that we have curated for y'all. We just banged out a really long, in-depth analysis slash documentary about David Foster Wallace and Infinite Jest. So don't miss that. Please check that one out. So we do have some updates. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Andrew Marlowe Artist Official. I would appreciate it. So we got some updates. Like I said, we started some new books. We finished a book, and we have a short little book haul that I wanted to share with you all. So the first order of business is we finally finished Crime and Punishment, my Dostoevsky. As you guys remember me stating earlier, this is not my favorite edition physically. The translation was pretty strong. It's actually Constance Garnett. If you guys have read Tolstoy or obviously Dostoevsky, you're probably familiar with Constance Garnett. Her translations are considered nowadays to be kind of antiquated and painfully Victorian, as David Foster Wallace once said. But nonetheless, a really strong, beautiful, right to the point translation. I would be curious to read a more modernized translation, yeah, if you will. So that's something we might do. We actually are going to continue the Dostoevsky project. We've got a whole stack of Dostoevsky right, where is it? Right here. That's all Dostoevsky. So we're going to continue reading Dostoevsky. I think we're going to start with some of his short stories after we've, finished this recently, just to take a break from the long-winded Dostoevsky. And we will have a full-depth analysis of Crime and Punishment coming in the future, in the near future. So everybody can look forward to that as well. Up next, we have the infamous Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I'm actually really, really enjoying this. I really like this small Signet paperback, tiny paperback edition, but looks can be deceiving because this book is a door stopper, absolutely huge. So we're just getting to know Jean Valjean and the Bishop Muriel, I think. Still a little rusty on my French, but I really love the story. I love the characters so far, and I'm really anxious to see what is going to happen. What's the relationship going to be between Jean Valjean and the other characters that he encounters? I've never really seen the musical in depth. I've never really seen the movie in depth, so I'm kind of coming at this pretty fresh, but obviously when you go into Les Miserables, you're going into it based on its reputation as well. I'm a huge Hugo fan. We covered Hunchback of Notre Dame, so I'll keep you guys updated rather on Les Miserables. We will be doing an analysis of that, obviously. And this is super exciting. We've actually continued A la Recherche de Temps Perdus, In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. This is the third installment known as the Gramantis Way. And obviously Proust is a lot of people's a challenging writer for a lot of people. He's not everybody's favorite. I happen to love his writing. He's definitely not my favorite author either, but I do feel compelled to try to understand, to continue In Search of Lost Time. And so far, I'm really enjoying the Gramantis Way and sort of the themes that he's wrestling with, some of the different characters that he's encountering. And I want to be able to go to my grave saying I read all 7 volumes of A la Recherche de Temps Perdus. So wish me luck, and we will try to keep continuing the Proust project. And obviously, they're all separate volumes, and I could do an analysis of each one, but I think I'm gonna wait till I finish the entire series in order to do an analysis. So you guys can look forward to more content on this channel about Proust. We did originally have a Swan's Way analysis, sort of book review, but I actually took it down because I wanted to, to go further with Proust. There tends to be a lot of sophomore stumbling over Proust, as some commenter commented to me long ago when I made that video, and I kind of started taking the criticism, and I was like, okay, maybe there's a little more to Proust than just, dipping his Madeline into the teacup. Obviously, that's only one part of Proust. Proust had a lot of different influences. He was wrestling with a lot of different philosophies that were coming out during that time. So to really cover Proust properly is going to take some time, yeah. So last but not least, or actually we got 2 more books we got to cover here before we get to the book haul. We're on the last story, the 7th story of Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. And this has been quite a journey. I've really liked these characters. I've really liked the style of storytelling that Murakami is offering. They are fairly impactful. They kind of stick with you and they make you think. Are they the most profound short stories I've ever read. Probably not, but that's kind of how short stories are. They're not so they're more entertaining than they are profound, in my opinion. I haven't read a whole lot of short stories. I've read some short stories here and there by Hemingway, for example, and some others. But for the most part, the novel form is more of what I'm interested in. But I would like to expand the horizons, and that's what we've done with Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. We'll probably do a little analysis of this as well once I finish the final story. And last but not least, we're still getting through Daniel Boorstin's The Creators, History, and Heroes of the Imagination. He covers everybody in here, from Stonehenge to the pyramids of Egypt to Pliny the Elder, St. Augustine, Alexander the Great, Moses, Confucius. So a lot of really good, well-rounded information that you can, or a lot of really good, useful information, I should say, to become a better, more well-rounded person. You can bring all of these characters and all of these historical events to the books, to the fiction that you're reading, and it'll definitely sort of helps inform different worldviews that you might have after reading a book, or might help you understand a character's worldview or a particular event. So we're looking forward to getting further into that. So let's get into the short little book haul here, and then we'll call it a day. I do have some longer projects planned for y'all, but I'm not going to bore you too much today with that. So you guys know I'm a huge Tolkien buff. I collect a lot of Tolkien books, and we did find this really strange vintage copy of The Hobbit with this beautiful illustration on here. Never really seen this edition of it before. So this is going to be exciting to get into. We might actually do a rereading of The Hobbit with this edition. And yeah, I just like collecting the various different editions that are kind of rare to find. I don't collect the collector's editions per se, like the fancy, expensive ones. I just collect sort of the odd rarities that you find at the used bookstores. Up next, we have the Silmarillion, or the Silmarillion, I should say. This is a beautiful, just little cheap paperback edition with some really nice artwork on there. And this is going to be, interesting to read. The Silmarillion, I think, is sort of like a prequel to The Lord of the Rings, something along those lines. And up next, we have this novel called Black Like Me by John Howard Griffin. Now, compared to how woke and everything is nowadays, this would probably be considered kind of dated, but it still is sort of an interesting concept about this man, this white man, if you will, that sort of disguises himself as an African American and goes into the Deep South, and he sort of documents his experience here in this book. So that should be interesting. Bill Maher was talking about that. So up next, we have this really beautiful Puffin classic of Jane Eyre. And this is one of my favorite copies of Jane Eyre that I've probably ever found. I just love the artwork, and the whole aesthetic fits really well. And we talked a little bit a couple videos ago about how to collect certain editions, why we collect certain authors, certain novels, certain titles, and this one's just going to fit beautifully into that. I almost thought it was a Penguin classic, but no, it's actually a Puffin classic, and it just starts with this beautiful illustration of Jane Eyre there. As you can see, the print is really nice. It's really big. Hopefully it's not abridged or anything. I don't think it is. So I think if I'm going to do a rereading of Jane Eyre, it's probably going to be with this one. And I know we've been promising to go back to Jane Eyre forever, so we probably will do that soon. Up next, we have this beautiful film, or in promotion of the film version, I should say, of The Return of the King. You guys might remember these from sort of the mid to late 2000s. And this was kind of a big deal to have one of these because it was like the first time we ever saw a live action representation of our favorite Middle-earth characters on the book covers of the Tolkien universe. They got some more of them on the back here. And this will fit nicely into our Tolkien collection. It's brand new. It's barely been read. So up next, lastly but not leastly, we have this really beautiful in-depth biography of George Orwell. Make sure you guys check out our analysis we did of 1984 a couple months ago. And this one's by Michael Sheldon. This should be really interesting. This covers his early career as a writer, his childhood upbringing, all the way to the end of his writing career. So this should be really eye-opening. I wish I had read this before I did the analysis of 1984. It always helps to read a biography of an author. So that is going to close out the little reading update, the epic reading update, and the little short book haul. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you guys check out the playlist. Like I said, please like and share this video with all your literary bookish friends. And we will catch up with you all very soon.